So in those valley experiences, just recognize that you are having one. Just recognize that suddenly this expansive flow seemed to stop or seemed to disappear from view. And first thing to do is to love yourself for that, to appreciate yourself for that, to appreciate the mechanism that entails the reason why it's there, which is to integrate, to embody the expansive peak experiences that you've had just before that. Now, and more, your life will accelerate. And so right now, even in my valley experiences, my life changes 10 times more than most people have in their peak experiences. So, but for me personally, if I am in a valley experience, things seem to go a little slow. Things seem to slow down. Nothing much seems to be happening. Even though I know that's not true from a more objective or relative comparative point of view to who I used to be or where most people are spending the majority of their consciousness. Nevertheless, to me personally, I still have those peak and valley experiences. But that is no longer a negative thing. It's a very valuable learning tool. And the focus shifts. The focus is different. The attention is different. The emphasis is different in the peak experiences than it is in the valley experiences. But both are crucially or equally as potent in terms of furthering your spiritual advancement, your expansion, your awakening. Both hold that beautiful potential for seeing more of yourself, understanding more of yourself. And again, the emphasis is different. The emphasis in the peak experiences is usually more on expansion. It's usually more on moving away from who you know yourself to be, in a sense, even though when it is the expressionate kind, not so much the non-dual peak experience, but maybe the expressionate peak experience of being more authentically yourself, more fearlessly you, having life flow and accelerate more effortlessly for you. Even in those experiences, it's kind of like you're moving away from where you've always placed yourself. Does that make sense? You're expanding beyond the structure that you've contained yourself within before that time. That's why it feels so good, because you're expanding into more of yourself. That's why we could call it a peak experience, because it's new for you. It's a new territory that you're exploring. Your zone of awareness, in a sense, is increasing. It's expanding. So you become more aware of more of your essence, more of your truth. And so then, moving away from your self-defined structure, the natural rhythm of being human, for as long as you are human as well, will want to restructure itself according to that new vision, according to that new frequency. So it wants to, in a sense, put that expansive state of being into a shell we call the body, and into an understanding or non-physical shell we call the mind. It wants to understand, it wants to penetrate, it wants to be able to apply consciously, it wants to be able to give it a proper place, it wants to be able to align its energy, it wants to be able to change its cellular structure and its DNA and all that. So it wants to take your new experience and integrate that. And that's what those valley experiences are best for. And how can you recognize them? Well, you probably already do, but you'll feel more like hibernating. You feel more like, stepping back from life for a moment, resting in your essence, or just not judging yourself. You feel like things are not flowing as well, and you just feel like being around someone that doesn't judge you, which is really just a permission slip or a symbol for you wanting to not judge yourself in that state of being. You just want to be loved. You know the spirits where you just want to be loved. You just want to be taken care of. You just want your mother to be there, or your whatever it is, your daddy or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Those are symbols for really what you want from yourself. You just want to love yourself in that state. You want to cherish yourself. You want to accept that this expansion is now being integrated, embodied into the structure of the human vehicle, the human instrument, the human conduit. And so all that that desires from you is that you hold the space for that you hold that loving, unconditionally loving space for that, and not judge yourself. And as you do that, you will find great acceleration to be possible right away again in that valley experience. Whether that is as physically active as you may have been in your peak experience, or as expressive. Maybe it's not as expressive when you are in that valley experience. Nevertheless, acceleration of a different kind happens.